I'm Cassie Craddock, VP.
Alright, what's going on guys? KEVINCAGE here with another crypto update. We got a bunch to go over in today's video, and if you can, let me know how the audio quality is in this one, if I need to adjust any of the filters in OBS related to gain, the compressor, or expander. I'm working with what I got right now, so just let me know down below. But anyways, we have a bunch to cover. So we have Cassie Craddock, she is managing director over at Ripple, and they just came out with another announcement of Ripple securing a preliminary electronic money institution license from Luxembourg's, basically a financial surveillance sector commission. So why is this a big piece of news? Because this came out on the 14th, so 3 days ago, but then just last Friday we got this news that Ripple Payments is expanding throughout the United Kingdom. So they got approval or permission from the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. And going back to 2021, we know that the United Kingdom, even the FCA, has always classified XRP as not a security. And funny enough, that was years ahead of what the SEC finally ruled eventually. We have this consultation report, and I'll just pull it up right here. This was from 2021, the UK regulatory approach to crypto assets and stablecoins. Now, if I do a control find for XRP, we can see right here that they classified XRP as an exchange token. So we had Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP, primarily used as means of exchange. Now, obviously, a lot has changed. We're going to see further classifications with the Clarity Act, even though it seems that the Clarity Act is delayed a bit, and we'll talk about that in this video. Point being is XRP is not a security. So what's the big deal about this news that Cassie just shared? Basically, this allows Ripple Payments to expand throughout the European Union. As we can see Ripple saying this is a pivotal step towards scaling Ripple Payments across the EU. And to my knowledge, the European Union has well over 20 plus different member states. So really to summarize, what they say right here along with in this blog 3 days ago is that the momentum is global. They have over 75 plus licenses and registrations worldwide. There is $95 billion plus in volume processed to date, so this is cumulative, and then reaching 90% of daily FX markets. And I'm sure you guys remember years ago when FX daily volume was like $5 trillion per day. Now back in April of 2025, the daily volume reached $9.6 trillion. So safe to say that the transaction volume of the FX market is higher today, whether it's 7 trillion or even 9 trillion. And last time I checked, the US dollar is still heavily involved in all FX trades, maybe close to even 90% is all in the US dollar, which is why the Ripple US dollar is very important. And what's really important to understand is they say reaching 90% of daily FX markets, so that is what Ripple's saying. And what they're referring to is that their overall network and Ripple Payments connects to financial institutions and payment corridors that operate in all of these countries, and that represents 90% of the global FX coverage. So really just think currency pairs. It does not mean that they have 90% of global FX volume today, but they have the coverage and the access to do so in the future. Alright, next up, so we have all been waiting on the Clarity Act, and we just got news that basically the Clarity Act got delayed, so we hit a bit of a wall. So we have this Digital Asset Market Structure Clarity Act of 2025. I just call it the Clarity Act for simplicity. They postponed its scheduled markup on January 15th, so 2 days ago, because there was opposition from Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. So we can see that Coinbase had some objections, and Brian Armstrong, the Coinbase CEO, said that he could not support the bill in its current form, basically warning that it would expand SEC authority over crypto, and I agree. We don't want the Clarity Act to give the SEC more authority and then weaken the CFTC's role and restrict DeFi activity, kill stablecoin rewards, all of these things. So I know we're in a rush to get clarification or clarity overall, but this has to be done right, so if it takes a while, that's fine. And keep in mind, what a good Clarity Act should do for the crypto asset class is properly classify these assets, not just putting everything under SEC control. We want to move crypto from these legal gray areas that the SEC can manipulate and take advantage of and control everything and fine everybody to actual mainstream adoption. I absolutely want the CFTC to have some degree of jurisdiction. And what I really think needs to be done is we actually need new regulatory bodies for new classifications altogether for payment tokens, utility tokens, etc. So these are all just stepping stones. We're still going to have a lot of regulatory disputes over stablecoins, DeFi, and especially rewards. We need a proper Clarity Act because this is setting the stage for tokenization of real-world assets. Now, days before the delay, we had iTrustCapital post this blog going over the Clarity Act and an update. The Senate may allow activity-based stablecoin rewards. So under the revised draft, at the time, passive rewards were restricted, which is a joke, but activity-based rewards tied to participation, usage, or transactions were permitted. And in this blog, they just go over that lawmakers were framing this to compromise to keep stablecoins focused on utility rather than acting like unregulated savings accounts. Meanwhile, the world is going cashless. We are paying fees for every credit card transaction. We deposit money in a bank and then they can lend that money out and make a crazy return and pay us pennies on the dollar. So really, all of this is still being negotiated. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, well, this doesn't matter. This is just about stablecoins, but it's really important for the crypto asset class how stablecoins are actually regulated, because this is going to impact platforms, incentives, and just overall adoption. And clarity around all of this is really important because all of these rules are directly affecting how crypto assets are able to be used in traditional finance for payments, settlement, trading, retirement accounts, you name it. So arguably, all of this regulation matters a lot more than current price action. And this isn't simple. I know I'm just speaking about this. I'm not an actual lawmaker looking at the complexity, but there's a huge amount to consider. And platforms like iTrustCapital give US residents access to not only crypto but precious metals. And we know that silver has been absolutely crushing it, creating a new all-time price. I believe it went over $90 or a tad over 90 recently. We're sitting at over $89, a $5 trillion market cap. So much larger than the entire crypto asset class. Now, I've had a Roth IRA with iTrustCapital since January of 2020, and I do hold precious metals in my Roth IRA today. And it doesn't make sense for me, not financial advice, and please always consult with a qualified professional to have a traditional IRA in the crypto space. If I had a traditional IRA, I would actually turn that into a Roth IRA and do a backdoor Roth IRA strategy, just so I could get that tax-free growth. But there are plenty of options out there with over 90 plus different crypto assets. And if you don't like the idea of a retirement account, I think they are extremely important. You can also look at a premium custody account. And I think this is a great option for anybody new to crypto or somebody that just doesn't want to have the risk of losing all of their funds, because this is a closed loop system. You are not getting hacked. And nothing against cold storage, because I do custody some of my own assets, but nothing is truly secure. And that's exactly why a PCA is a great option for new investors or even veterans. And this is linked right in the top of the YouTube video description and right in the top of my link tree. So remember that I've spoken about a premium custody account a bunch of times. I don't want anybody telling me that they have all of their holdings in a single wallet or a single cold storage wallet, because this solution exists and you can diversify. Alright, next up, now let's dive into this recent partnership between this group and Ripple. So I'm just going to call them LMAX. It might be LMAX, I'm not sure, but for simplicity, I'm going to say LMAX. So let's just go through the thread and then we'll check out the blog. So we have Ripple partnering with LMAX to accelerate institutional stablecoin adoption and cross-asset mobility. The Ripple US dollar will be integrated as core collateral across LMAX's global marketplace, unlocking cross-collateral efficiencies across crypto and traditional markets. We have this down below. This multi-year collaboration will see LMAX Group integrate RLUSD collateral across its institutional trading infrastructure, enabling clients to benefit from cross-collateralized trading and margin efficiencies in spot crypto, perp futures, and CFD trading. Alright, so let's break this down a little bit, going over institutional stablecoin adoption and cross-asset mobility. What does that mean? That's basically the ability to move value seamlessly across different asset classes using a single interoperable form of collateral, which would be the Ripple US dollar. So instead of keeping all of these asset classes in different buckets for foreign exchange, we have crypto, we have futures margin accounts, and CFD margin accounts, institutions can now use a single asset, the Ripple US dollar, to operate across all of these buckets. So we have this blog right here, and this is a multi-year agreement to integrate the Ripple US dollar across this LMAX Group's global marketplace. So the Ripple US dollar is integrated as a core collateral asset, the keyword being core right there, across its institutional trading infrastructure, enabling their customer base, including top-tier banks, brokers, and buy-side institutions, to leverage the Ripple US dollar for cross-collateralization and margin efficiencies across crypto, perp futures, and CFD trading. And as part of this collaboration, Ripple will provide $150 million in financing to support LMAX's long-term cross-asset growth strategy. And we have key benefits down below. I'll just highlight these if you guys want to pause and read it. And check this out. So we know Hidden Road is now Ripple Prime, that $1.25 billion acquisition. And remember that since they were in discussion with acquiring them and the acquisition is done, Ripple Prime's business has grown by 3x. And please check out the previous videos because we talked about a lot of things that Ripple Prime's working on. And we have Ripple Prime customers are now able to leverage LMAX Digital as a primary price discovery venue with deep liquidity to trade and hold digital assets securely. And believe it or not, this group does look pretty big. This partnership follows a record year for LMAX Group, which saw $8.2 trillion in institutional exchange volume last year. Now, I know attention spans are really short, and I hope I didn't lose you and you did watch all the way up to this point because this is a big deal. This is actually plugging into actual financial plumbing. This isn't being listed on some silly exchange or being supported. The Ripple US dollar is being used as core collateral inside of this trading venue that's regulated on an institutional level. So this isn't some retail use case, this is a big deal. We just saw the $8.2 trillion in institutional exchange volume last year by this group. So this is legitimate balance sheet level infrastructure. And yes, I strongly believe, not financial advice, this is solely my opinion, that the Ripple US dollar market cap is going to climb dramatically over the coming years. It's not just another stablecoin, this is a serious financial instrument with that preliminary approval from the OCC. And the more support the Ripple US dollar has, the more speculation and involvement and even volume we can have on the XRP ledger. And just remember that all of this is very important. Infrastructure adoption matters a lot more than what we're seeing in terms of current price action. So this partnership includes institutional custody, the Ripple US dollar as a core collateral asset. We have Ripple Prime as the credit and brokerage layer, leveraging a bunch of regulated exchanges. And remember, they saw over $8 trillion in institutional exchange volume just last year. So this really is global finance adopting new technology. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really hoping that my mic quality is alright. So if I'm yelling, hey, I'm a loud guy and I like to yell. But if it's not, I'll work on fixing my gain and the filters. But as always, guys, hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button and let me know your thoughts down below. You can find all links to my crypto resources, including tools for charting, trading bots, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts right in my link tree in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.